Hello everyone, my name is Lowell Evans. I'm from Virginia Beach, Virginia, and I want to share with you a story because I'm a person who has epilepsy. I've had epilepsy now for over 40 years, and I have it but it doesn't have me. So it was back in 1998, I believe it was. I was driving down the road and I've been seizure free for about 4 or 5 years. And driving down the road, I felt a weird feeling, what we call an aura. An aura is a sensation where you might go into a seizure or you might not. And with that being said, I had a feeling come across me where I felt that I lost like a little second or two of my brain wave, my brain thoughts, excuse me. And with that being said, I said I better pull off because I want to make sure I have my medication with me, and that I took my medication. I had to think for a minute or two. So when that happened, the next thing I know, when I came to, I was in the back of a police car. And when I came to, I just said to myself, what's going on? And I was riding down the road, and I said to the policeman officer, I said, sir, what's wrong? What's the problem? And he just continued to whistle, and he wouldn't respond to me. I told the officer, I said, sir, I felt kind of funny. That's why you saw me in my car, sitting there, stopped, because I felt a seizure coming on. I didn't know whether I had one or not, but in times like that, I stopped just for my own protection and the protection of others. But he still wouldn't listen to me. He still wouldn't respond. So when he took me out the car and we entered the building, we stood there and he gave his answers about me to his commanding officer, his chief or whoever that was. The chief looked over the papers, and I guess he ran my license or whatever, and he said to me, Mr. Evans, I don't see any marks or any driving issues with your license. I said, what exactly happened? And I told the chief, I said, sir, I have no problem with my license. I said, I don't drink and drive or anything like that. I don't even have a speeding ticket. He said, well, why are you here? I said, sir, I think I might have had a partial seizure. He said, excuse me? I said, yes, I think I might have had a seizure, and that's why I pulled off the side of the road. And he says, well, sir, we need to check on this. And he talked to the officer. Officer said, well, I got him out the car, and he wouldn't respond to me. And I told him, I said, sir, I couldn't respond to you. I was having a seizure. And the officer said, look, sir, he did not answer me. He would not answer me. And I said, again, sir, I could not answer you. I said, there's no way. I said, during a seizure, I couldn't talk. And the officer said, well, he wasn't falling on the ground. He wasn't having convulsions or things like that. I said, sir, I have different types of seizures. What I was probably having was called a partial complex seizure, where I don't lose my consciousness and fall out, but I still going through a seizure. I said, as you can see right now, I'm able to talk and, and respond to you now. And so the officer just kind of shook his head, and his commanding officer said, well, or his chief, whoever he was, said, didn't you give him the sobriety test, or didn't you take a breathalyzer, give him a breathalyzer test? And the officer again said, well, he would not talk. He would not do the things I asked him to do. I had to kind of guide him to do the things, even to get in the car. Well, I said, sir, again, with that, there's no strength for me to respond. So then with me giving them a little education about epilepsy, in which society needs to be educated about epilepsy, I'm still learning more and more myself, because the brain in epilepsy, which epilepsy deals with, the nervous system, there's so many types of different seizures that this officer knew nothing about. He just knew about the main one, which was called back then grand mal. Now it's called tonic-clonic, where people think about falling out, having convulsions, shaking and all that. And the officer didn't see that, so he thought I had been drinking, was intoxicated, because I might have mumbled some words, excuse me, I might have mumbled some words and that weren't clear, and that's what people with who have been drinking normally do. They mumble words and when they're drunk, but that's what me, because I can't drink. I'm on medication. So the officer and his chief looked at each other and said, "Mr. Evans, look like there might have been some confusion, some confusion here." I said, "Yes, sir, I think there's some miscommunication, because really there's only one person talking, and that was the officer, because I couldn't talk." So he said, "Sir, do you think that we can talk this out, maybe learn a little bit from each other about this?" I said, "I think it's great." I said, like I said, I'm still learning more about epilepsy, and I think the officer can learn some more himself. As a matter of fact, I'm willing to talk to him more about it right now. And the officer said, "I just didn't know." And I agreed to him, "No, you didn't know?" And I said, "Matter of fact, I couldn't tell you." So we all, kind of shook our head and had a little smile on our face at the end.